Hello, and welcome to Word of Hope. I'm Brother Joe Trout, coming to you for Sunday of the first week in Lent. And I'd like to focus on a very tiny detail in our gospel today. We hear that Jesus went out into the desert where he fasted for 40 days, and then he was hungry, and then he was tempted by the devil. And then he was hungry. It does not say for 40 days he was hungry while he was fasting, but at the end of it. And now perhaps it means that he was hungry all throughout and this reached an epitome of hunger. But I'd like to consider that maybe it really does mean what it says, that Jesus was somehow sustained for 40 days, and at the conclusion of it, he is hit with hunger, and then the temptation strikes. If you think of two different 40 days, 40-year periods in the Old Testament, Moses goes up onto the mountain for 40 days where he is sustained by God in a close encounter with God on Mount Sinai. The Israelites, on the other hand, wander for 40 years where they are sustained by God through manna and quail, but it's a difficult and a tense period. I think Lent can be either one of those things for us. That it can be a period of trial where we're being nourished and sustained by God and dependent on the quail and the manna that we don't really want. But it can also be that period of very deep, close encounter with God where we are sustained for 40 days. It can be a nourishing time to grow much closer to God. And often people will say that at the end of that period, that their practices had brought them closer to God, that then the temptation strikes when Lent ends. It's at that point that if you gave up desserts, gave up alcohol, and then suddenly you get to Easter and you just have this hunger to gorge upon it, and if you gave up social media, now you just want to start scrolling endlessly, right? The temptation strikes you then, the hunger for the thing that for 40 days you were okay without, now you must have. And that's when we have to resist. Similar to Jesus, then we hunger. Then we say no to temptation. And then we conquer with him. That's what Lent prepares us for, that when we get to our own Good Friday at the end of this, when we are faced with death and mortality after this period of closeness with God, can we die with Christ and rise with him? Can this period of fasting help prepare us not to just be miserable in life, but to know the God who will help us to conquer over what is thrown in our path. In him, we are victorious. Right? Have a wonderful day, and God bless.